One of the hotly debated issues on the ballot this year is the constitutional amendment that allows for a property tax to help fund education. Do you support this amendment, and why or why not? Governor Ige is first.
Yes, I support this amendment because we've seen year after year about the needs of our public education system that cannot be funded with the funds that we have. You know, Hawaii is the only state in the country where $0, not a single penny of property taxes goes to our public schools. This constitutional amendment is a simple question on the ballot about whether income and investment properties should be taxed and the proceeds go to improve public education. I really believe that the residents in our community have the option for choosing whether they want to support improved public education.
Thank you. Representative Tupola.
I'm against raising taxes. You know, your first question talked about the cost of living, and any increase in taxes is going to affect the cost of living. You know, the definition of investment properties is still ambiguous. There could be investment properties for local businesses. We could have local families doing rentals in these investment properties or local businesses. And so when we talk about investment, you got to realize as well that only the counties do property taxation. We talked about in the legislature that by doing this, we may or may not have to erect a whole new department, which could take away from the potential funding. The second part is, where is educational purposes? Will this money go to teacher salaries? Will it go to the weighted student formula? Or will it go to the administration that we need to audit and then apply an audit? I'm committed to being the governor that actually audits the DOE and makes those dollars more efficient so that we don't have to tax the people, but that more dollars go straight to the classrooms and to the students.
Thank you. If the amendment passes, legislators must still craft a bill that adds the tax to fund this education. Will you pledge to ensure that any funding is, in fact, additional funding and not a replacement for a portion of existing state money already budgeted for schools, if it passes? Andrea.
I am committed to making sure that this money goes straight to the students, the weighted student formula or teacher salaries. This is what impacts the classroom. We cannot have any additional dollars going towards the administration or even to the general fund.
Governor Ige.
Certainly, if I have the privilege of serving as governor another term, I guarantee you that I would veto any measure that increase the property taxes for residents, that does not guarantee that any revenue generated from this property tax would be in addition to what's there and would be guaranteed to go to teachers, students, and the classroom. And finally, we will make sure that none of the taxes get increased on affordable rentals. You know, we clearly are focused on creating affordable rentals. And so certainly all of the concerns raised by those advocating a no, I guarantee you will not occur if I'm governor.
We do have some time for follow-up on this same topic, so let's stick with it, and we'll do about a 30-second time as for this follow-up. And we'll go in the same direction to the first answer. How would you, again, if this amendment were to pass, strictly define what constitutes an investment property, or in a case an affordable rental property for some kind of protection, and how would you make that sure that that would survive through whether it was the veto process or make it through the legislative process as you intend it to be defined? Start.
Well, we definitely would have to work closely with the counties. As you know, their expertise is in property taxation. So in order for us to define the TMKs, define the actual property owners, we're going to have to make sure that these are foreign or outside investors, and we're going to have to make sure that the properties that are labeled investment are not housing local families, not local rentals, and not local businesses. So this process would take some time, but working hand in hand with the counties, it's possible, since they have more data than the state, definitely.
And then Governor Ige.
Certainly, we would be able to tell because the homeowner exemption is only available for those homeowners who live in their properties, and clearly that would be a delineation of whether it's their home or that it's out for investment properties. Again, I think the intent was to focus on income properties, so second homes that are being vacation rentals or other income-generating properties over $1 million, and clearly there would be an exemption that affordable rentals would not be included for increased fees.
Thank you both.